Hey everyone, hope you well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to XRP once again. Thank you support. Okay, big the CoinsKid crew. So I am actually entertaining a long right now on XRP, a macro long, and this is something I've been patient for. You know, I've been telling you for many months right now. I'm just going to be patient. A lot of you was like leaving the channel and saying what you're talking about, things like that. But like I said to you, I'm just going to be patient. I'm not going to jump into a long here. I'm not a DJ because I think this will still be choppy for XRP. But right now I'm looking at something with XRP and the pullback that we're going through. I think there's a lot of fear and depression here. But what I'm looking at for Bitcoin primarily is we may have seen the correction complete, and I've gone through this with you in a Bitcoin video, but I'll quickly remind you, I think we've been in an ABC here. This is the bottom. Right now you've had a 1, which is basically impulsive. This is the first time we've seen a 5-wave move, possible leading diagonal, and possible the formation of an Adam and Eve bottom like this for Bitcoin. Now we've traded this before. This was way back in 2022 for anyone that remembers. Adam and Eve bottom like this. Okay, so it came up in 5 waves. We traced, oh no, going to zero, then broke out another impulsive move. So this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. So it's all about this low that we put in March, and right now we're drawing back. The fear and greed is showing us that there's an opportunity right now against herd mentality. So this is why I'm entertaining a long on Bitcoin and obviously XRP as well, because we've not lost any structure. Because what I think we've got here, and I've gone through this a million times with you, basically if we zoom out to the daily for Bitcoin, I know it's a big XRP video, but I have to look at Bitcoin for confluence of my analysis. Okay, so basically what I think we've got here in December, we come down in the A, come back up in the B, and this has been a C, and it's shaking a lot of people out. But what we've got right now is the perfect ABC. So from there to there, we've got the perfect ABC that's slam bang onto 1.618. Okay, so we've got an A, B, C, beautiful, 1.618. Adam and Eve bottom like this, coming back, oh no, going to zero, breakout back to see you later. That is my primary expectation right now for Bitcoin, and if we see that, then I think, you know, XRP is going to pump as well. So is there any other data right now that, you know, is confidence analysis? Okay, we should be entertaining longs right now on XRP and Bitcoin, and not necessarily shorts. We could be looking at some kind of short squeeze over the next week. But if we take a look right now, we've got the micro sitting at 28, the macro sitting at 26, and one really important thing happened yesterday on the liquidity dance on the LD right now, the white line. You can clearly see whenever we spike up and we drop, just like stipulated here, a sharp drop in liquidity dance after a spike signals cash re-entering the system and encourage investment. Well, if you take a look at yesterday's close, look at that. There's your spike on Thursday. There's your pullback yesterday. We got a nice little close below the spike on Thursday. So that could be a clue that we are about to see this, because we don't track this over the weekend, because like I said here, the liquidity dance is not tracked over the weekend with the closure of traditional markets right there. So come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this liquidity may be re-entering the market, and this is how it works. Whenever we see a spike up, we will see a pump to the upside in Bitcoin and XRP, and right now this is spiking up. This is doing exactly what we need to see if we are expecting a pump for XRP. Okay, so with that and the fact that we're pulling back so drastically and everyone's getting really depressed on XRP, I'm going to entertain along here, and this is something I've been waiting for. I've been really patient with yourselves. A lot of people said you're an idiot and DJ and things like that. You know, you know what we're talking about, XRP's scam, blah blah blah. I've been here before, you know, I've been here before. Exactly, you know, this when we're pulling back, oh no, it's going to zero, but we had a bullish divergence, jumped in, boom, beautiful. And right now we may have one here as well. So we've got this low here, and right now we've got a high low, but we could be making a low low in the other side. So we've got to be patient. Right now we're pulling back, oh no, it's going to zero, but we turn around and pump to the upside, which would be absolutely amazing. Come April, this thing could be breaking out to the upside, and it's just doing exactly what it did. If we take a look, and I've been looking at a scenario with you, went sideways there in February 2021. Oh no, it's going to zero, pull back towards the end of March, broke out. Look at that into April. It was a huge spike up against odds and expectations right there. So if it does break out like this, like I said to you, I think it's a final 5th wave to the upside, and I do intend to sell in May and go away. So we may see a little pump, pull back, and then continuation in April and May, and then we may be cooked in May. This is something I'm trying to relay to you with that final impulsive move to the upside. Obviously, I'm looking for the invalidation, and one of the key invalidation points I think will be the liquidity dance taking off in space. If this thing takes off in space, then yeah, XRP's pulling back, it's in the world of trouble, and my long will get stopped out basically. So I'll relay that to you. But at the minute, I just think there's an opportunity, and I like to buy these opportunities, especially on the micro. If we start to see the micro kicking into a buy, you know, I'm buying. Okay, it really is that simple. Another indicator create for yourselves, which maybe confluence this particular analysis, is the fact that right now the fear and greed on the micro is green. Okay, so look at that. So we were green there, we saw a pump, we were green there, we saw a pump, we were green there, we saw a pump. So come the weekend with the LD, the liquidity dance as well, showing a rollover, pushing into next week, this may be a beautiful opportunity. This may be the long opportunity that we're looking for in XRP. So let me dive into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see, okay? The S&P 500 at the moment is getting rejected off the ribbon. We are in a red sell dot, as we are on the daily for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, so on and so forth. So, you know, the king of risk, which is the S&P 500, is now underwater on the ribbon. So what we want to see is some kind of reversal pattern here, breakout back test, see you later. If we do start to see this reversal structure in the S&P 500, this will equally be confidence to the fact that, okay, we're looking at new all-time highs here for XRP. But, you know, at the moment, we've got to respect this. This is underwater. It's getting rejected off the ribbon, and right now it's pulling back into this low here. So if it holds it over the next few weeks, you know, you start to see some kind of reversal here, comes back up, takes out that resistance. Okay, we may have found a bottom here. We may, you know, be forming some kind of ascending triangle. You know, if we take a look to the left, we've done this before. You got your bottom, you come up, ascending triangle, you break out. You know, you're making high-low structure. Just here as well. Let's take a look down here. You got another one just there, ascending triangle. I know it's going to zero on the pullback, and then boom, you break out. So you know, this is what you want to see. You want to see reversal structure here for the S&P 500, where it gets its ass back above the ribbon, and you're taking out and you're holding the structural high lows. At the moment, you know, you've got this low, you retrace into ribbon, and you retrace into this low, just like Bitcoin. I think I showed you earlier in the video right there. So just like Bitcoin, I think this is met the 1.618. So it may have completed its correction. I actually think we've been in a correction in the S&P 500 since December. This is a free wave move down. This is a free wave move back up. This is not impulsive. And right now, you know, you've got your C wave, which you're in right now. So this C wave, it could go on. It could go on for a very long time. It could go on for a year, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever. But what I'm looking for is more clues that it's over by breaking above the ribbon, taking out, holding support, and making structural high lows. So this is what we're looking for from this point right now. If it's come up into the ribbon, you got some kind of 1 into a 2, you know, you want to see some kind of structure like that over a long period of time, where you do begin to create reversal structure, and then you begin to break out to the upside, and you've completed your zigzag correction, because it's exactly what I think this is right now with S&P 500. I think this is an ABC from here, A into a B, and right now this is possibly the C that's complete. And what it is from the top, it's basically, you know, what we've done before in the S&P. It's a 10% correction. So with that, you should be looking at the 1.618 being tagged from the A wave down, A wave, B wave, boom, 1.618 being tagged right now. So the minimal ABC correction on 1.618 has actually been met. So that may be the bottom, okay? And we've got to keep an eye on this, because if it is impulsive, corrective, hold this resistance, take it out, boom, we're up here, you know, in the blow off top phase of this particular chart to the 2 fib at 6634, and I'm looking for the invalidation right now. So if we drop the LD in, the liquidity dance, at the moment we are seeing a spike up, and you can clearly see whenever we see a spike up in the LD versus the S&P, once it starts to roll, this is where the S&P begins to break out basically. Look, you've got this top here, as it started to roll, the S&P is breaking out, so on and so forth. You've got a spike up here, as it started to roll, the S&P is breaking out. You've got a spike up here, as it started to roll, the S&P is breaking out. So, you know, this is right on cue. If we're expecting to move up in risk and liquidity coming back into the market, we have to see this LD, the white line, we have to see it roll over over the next few weeks, because every time it does, you know, you pretty much, this is dropping, S&P's popping. So it's a bit of confluence we have to see in the LD, the liquidity dance. Liquidity is re-entering the market. If we don't see that, if this thing starts to take off into space and it's taking out pivot highs and things like that, then obviously we're pulling back, and at that point we've got to jump ship, okay, and just buy back lower. And obviously on the break of resistance and the confirmation that, you know, the S&P 500 is bullish again after its correction is complete, which is exactly what it did way back there in, I think it was January 2023 that I relayed that to you. It entered that huge crashing correction late 2021, and it was coming down the stairs. It was a horrible correction. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and once it broke out its resistance in January, I was looking at an impulsive move to the 1.618 at least, which is tagged way back there, okay, and it's met the technical target as well of an inverse and shoulders. So it may be cooked, but I'm looking for more data in the structure in this particular chart. At the moment, I'm going to get the benefit of the doubt, just like XRP. I think we've got an ABC since December, zigzag that's complete, 1, 2, looking for the 3, 4, 5 up to this level here, the 2 fib. Possible selling may and go away at scenario, and at that point I think we're cooked and we're coming for a big macro correction at that point. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now. So the S&P is really important. If this is correction complete, it has to come up impulsively, correctively, and break this resistance. So we keep an eye on this on the next few weeks, and obviously the rollover in the LD, the liquidity dance right there. If that rolls over, then okay, we're looking at a nice little move here over the next few weeks into April and May for the S&P 500 and XRP into that last high, okay, in this chart and XRP as well. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now, see what we can see, okay? So look, XRP on the daily time frame right now, a lot of fear and depression in this market, but like I said to you, I think we keep seeing a series of free waves here. We've got like this free wave here, big free wave there, another free wave there, another free wave there, and right now we're in another free wave to the downside. Let's keep an eye on this ascending level support, because if we hold this once more, and you know, from left to right getting really compressed towards the apex, this may be the breakout moment with a potential spike in the liquidity dance, which I've shown you earlier in the video, that may be leading and, you know, forewarning of a pump over the next few weeks, because this is exactly where it needs to be. If you take a look, we've got the high there and we've got the lower high basically, so we've closed out lower. Liquidity on Friday is actually showing that, you know, the day before on Thursday we've got a little bit of liquidity coming back into the market just there. So again, you know, you see these big spike ups like this. What happens to XRP on the big spike ups when this starts to drop? Right on cue, and I've shown you this before, this is why I made the indicator for you. On the big spike ups, you're drawing down, I know it's going to zero, but once it drops, what happens to XRP? It takes off into space. So just there, you know, you got your big spike up, oh no, XRP is going to zero, it's drawing down like this, look at this, right on cue. As this drops, what happens to XRP? Comes back up the stairs. So you got the big spike up just there on this key point, and what was happening to XRP? It was coming back right on cue. But as the liquidity was coming back into the market, XRP was, you know, basically pumping to the upside. So again, we've seen this big spike up. So again, there's not got a crystal ball. This isn't guaranteed to play out like this. And one of the most bearish things we can see here is if this continues to, you know, basically break out where liquidity is being withdrawn, then XRP is in a world of trouble. It will roll over. So this is why I created this index for you, because it gives us a clue. Now, right now, there may actually be a little clue with what we've seen, this high on Thursday, and we've seen the lower high on Friday. So remember, I only track this on Monday to Friday. With the traditional markets being closed on a Saturday and Sunday, we don't track this. So if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to see this come down like this, then, you know, I'm going to go long with my life savings on XRP, but against the herd mentality and the naysayers expecting something like that, you know, we may be about to do something like this for XRP. So this is why it's really important. This is a very, very, you know, important update. We've got to pay attention to what's going to happen with the LD and obviously the S&P 500 over the next week or so. This is a make or break moment for me, because we're getting really compressed, and like I've always taught you, compression leads to expansion. Right now everyone's getting extremely depressed and bored and things like that, but what we've not seen here from this low is a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a final fifth wave. I don't actually think that that's a fifth wave right there for XRP. I actually think that's a 3-wave move up. We've got a 3-wave move down, ABC coming back up. I actually think it's a bull trap with the S&P 500, and right now we've got a series of 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, which is synonymous with triangles. Okay, so this C wave may actually be some kind of triangle like this, looking for the expanse to the upside, but we've got to see the LD break down over the next few weeks. If we see that, amazing. In with my life savings, beautiful little long opportunity, just like this little long opportunity down here. Okay, look at this, you're reflecting, you're coming up, XRP is drawing down. Oh no, it's going to zero, but once this drops and made the lower lows, XRP absolutely took off into space. And this is what we've got to see. We've got to see that LD coming down, making lower lows. If we see that, then XRP is taking off into space right there. Hope you understand that update, and obviously I'm looking for the validation, but that is my primary at the moment, and keep an eye on the LD for you. You can get that indicator into your charts. Just go to CoinsKid.com, follow the process. Hope you enjoyed that update. We've got a very important week ahead of us in the crypto markets, in my opinion. Take care everyone, back to another update on XRP. Stay up for this one, stay tuned. Bye bye.